Good morning. This is session 2 for Fabricated Reality. Very early in the composition process. We're in the sound design process, actually. So yesterday I made this patch with phase plant, which is awesome. And the patch turned out to be, it was too overly processed. It was not very good. So I went back and I tweaked it a little bit in my off time yesterday. And actually have turned it into what I think is a really good keys patch. And I made it velocity sensitive because I have some ideas about that. But here is just take a listen. So it turned out pretty good. And I learned something about phase plant because I haven't done this before, which is I don't make patches velocity sensitive all the time. But in this case, so at first I wired up velocity, which is right here, to the gain, the master gain. And then what would happen though is if your notes change velocity, it changes the amplitude of the entire patch and all keys that are playing. So what I figured out is that if I set one of these lanes to polyphonic so that the effects take place for each key that's pressed, and then I use the gain slider on that lane, wire that to velocity, that I get per note velocity. Pretty cool, huh? Anyway, so that's a little phase plant trick for velocity sensitivity. I took out the plugins that were causing a wash. I redid the reverb and took out the Velvet Machine. Velvet Machine was causing way too much wash on the sound. So I left the phaser in, and then I just put in a seventh heaven hull. Really nice reverb, by Liquid Sonics if you haven't used it. So I thought I'd do a little sound design, maybe work on a bass, and then go back and start writing some key parts, writing some chord changes. So let's get a bass going, see what we come up with. I'm going to try and use Diva. That's not too bad right off the bat. But we make our own sounds here, so we're going to init. Take a look at some of the other options we have. I'm going to try this digital oscillator. Let me go back to this one, the triple VCO. shaping up okay. It really sounds like a, like a Fender bass. Doesn't have a lot of attack to it. So what I'm doing here is I'm making a stack of 3 voices, and I'm using the stack index to modulate pan. And that'll give it a nice 3-voice stereo effect. Now, some of that's going to go away because I'm going to roll the sides off up to about 200 hertz. But for now, it sounds kind of cool. Now, there's one other thing you can do, which is go in here to the stack tune. And I said 3 voices. So what I can do is detune my second. You got to look up here at the number. Detune my second and third voices by 1 notch, which is 0.2. Leave this one there. These don't rotate. This means for the 3 voices that I've selected, numbers 2 and 3 will be detuned. And you can see here as the voices scroll through the 8 overall voices. So I do get my detune effect, and I get a really deep kind of sub thing going on since I've synced these oscillators. All right, now we got to work on. I'm going to leave that way for now. Now we got to work on getting some, we got to level this thing out a little bit. Let's try some saturation. Whoa. This audio damage distortion plugin is really good. So you can see it's multi-band. You can see right here the distortion bands that are being hit. EQ this guy a little bit. it's funny that distortion literally starts to sound like you're driving your speakers too hard, but I know I'm not. I'm not even clipping the track because I have a limiter on it. Kirchhoff EQ is amazing, and one of the things that's awesome about it is this continuous slope. See that? Super cool. So what I'm trying to do is kind of level out these peaks right here. So what I'm doing here is I'm just pegging the threshold and I'm using it to tune the attack and release. So if I do a fast attack and a slow release, I basically get nothing. If I drop this all the way down to fast, I can start to hear the click of the attack, and then I can increase the intensity of the click by moving from fast to slow. That's one possibility for bass. Reiku, I like Serum as well. I like presets also, but I try and make my own sounds just to get some I don't know, variety. But you know what? In honor of your chat message, I'm going to. This is a bass. I'm going to go ahead and make a bass in Serum. See what I get. See, Serum already just sounds good. I'm going to use this Inphonic RX 950 DAC converter emulation for saturation. If I get it loud enough, once I get it loud enough to hit that, we'll be able to hear the difference. So let's go ahead and get our envelope right. So typically what I do with bass, it's nice to use Serum so I can kind of demonstrate this. My amp envelope is going to be stretched out a little bit. Let's just say 5 seconds. Of course you can't hear it. And then my filter envelope is going to be much faster. I'm going to make this a 24. And since I want my sustain, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this up. These don't sound like they're in the same octave as Serum. Oh, wrong way. Ah, that sounds terrible. I might be able to blend these two together. So let's look for something a little different. So I'm going to go back to envelope 1. I'm going to control the wavetable position with that. B. I need to go back. Now that I have some sub, I can drop the sustain point of the cutoff. So this I'm going to do with an LFO. Oh, if you ever want to switch this to bipolar, you just go into the matrix, switch that. Now I'm bipolar. I want to slow that down. Let's add a bend type. Serum is just really easy to work with. Awesome. Oh, I know what I didn't do. I want to drive this 950. I'll exaggerate it here so you can hear it. Good enough. So I might be able to use both these basses. This one's a little flabbier than this one. But, I mean, if you think about it, the synths that Diva is modeling are nowhere near as sophisticated as Serum. And it's also, you know, yours truly's success either way, making a patch. I do need to EQ this thing. That's interesting. Check that out. So what we'll do is low shelf this guy. Or high shelf. And we can still roll off. Just killed the character of this thing. Let's do something different. But most of my distortion's coming from the RX 950. Man, this LA2A really punches out the sound. All right, we got a couple basses. We got some keys. Probably do another keys patch and then start working on chord changes. All right, that's it for me today. Be awesome.